to begging for mercy, and I will never stop killing you. Oh shit.
Hey, Scarlett.
It's gaming, isn't it?
Yes,
No, I said hi. I just said hi.
No! No! Gaming! 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 Deku, Deku! Revive me, revive me, revive me.
What the
What? What happened?
Oh, he sniped me!
Alrighty guys, let me do a couple of things. Noticing that my camera was not showing the proper location, or where my camera should be placed, but that's okay, cause I do move it okay over sometimes, but I realize that we do need to rest. So I'm wanting to know that's where we're headed. We're gonna take this and head all the way down over to Takayama. Hopefully we can get to our destination. Actually, no, I'm doing it right. Because one of the things that that I am going to share with you guys today is going to be really a lot of related to, some of it related to free speech, because there's this thing that I've been watching that I get, or not watching, just kind of browsing through Facebook, and ended up seeing some things on libraries and stuff. So we'll get into that, and we'll also get into for today, as well as the house shutting down right after for a thing that is basically won't be back till June now, and it's ridiculous. To be honest, basically for me, if you're gonna be part of the house, you shouldn't be, basically you have to basically finish out the entire day or whatnot in order to shut down, basically, or to not whatever. But it's really one of those things that really bothered me. Primarily those are the two things, and then you know a lot of other things that seem really interesting and really important to me. That I wanted to share with you guys as well. It's going to be not a day of choosing to speak on certain things. Now, of course, I could have easily see it really does screw with my brain sometimes, like driving in one location. Like I can drive on the left side of the road, I can't drive for what it's worth, knowing locations. And I should know about this location a lot because I drive a lot of this location. But to be honest, we are still in 1.58 because we are driving in Japan. We haven't gotten 1.59 yet from Japan. It's coming. We'll just have to be patient. It's just like next week we'll have to be patient for the PS2 adapter that I'm wanting to get. This PS2 adapter is going to be a great thing for me to use my guitar with, and PS2 controllers on PC. Maybe it'll work with Linux, we'll find out. But if it doesn't, it's fine, it's whatever. Because at least I know that it works, and it's, you know, Linux is the only thing that I'm going to have a little issue. But if it does, then we also got a couple other things that we're going to try it with as well. Being able to play a PS2 guitar for the PlayStation 5 for it, so we'll see how things go in relations to with the PS2 guitar, and a Wii guitar that I'm going to be also doing it with as well. And if I can get the Wii guitar and the PS2 guitar working, then guess what? That's going to give me quite a plethora of being able to play Rock Band 4 again, or being able to pick up Rock Band 4 and play Rock Band 4. And that's going to give us a lot more flexibility to play a official Rock Band title for you guys. Yeah, I'm going to continue to and what I can do is add a new avoidance system. Yes, I have been speeding a little bit because I am, according to the game, I'm tired, but I kind of wish that, you know, you save the game, you know, and you don't come, like, you save the game, like, if you're connected to the internet, like, your save would be tied to an online service, and it would allow that if you saved the game and you're parked, you could be considered resting. Okay. Um. 54 minutes, and we got an hour before I do. Come on, light, change. So, but there's also this thing that that I'm coming into telling you that that the PS2 and the Wii adapter is going to be doing greatly for me to be able to utilize a controller. Fudge. Hey. Oh, okay. So we get a vehicle crashing offense. Didn't notice that. But we can. Because all I have to do is we're adding the avoidance system there. But one of the things that really makes that a great thing is that not only will it allow for me to utilize the Wii adapter um, for Qatar, and the PS2 adapter for Qatar. It's basically those are the two things that I'm using it for. Um, I almost just last night I almost was like, nope, not gonna do that. Not gonna spend the $50 on the adapters. I was like, okay, I wanted to spend $50 last night on clothes and stuff, and it's like, no, I don't need to right now. Yeah, it's one of those things where I was so tempted last night, but I ended up not just doing it. But there is this thing that allows for and it gives me that more flexibility to utilize it for the PS2 controller to be able to authentically be able to play PS2 games. For what it's worth. I don't know why. Okay, first off, I don't understand why that there is a stoplight here. Just in the gate, just in this itself. Now, if this is legitimately there is a stoplight on this thing, then okay, then fine. But there shouldn't need. You know. you know, one of the things that really bugs me is like, I look at my mirrors and I'm looking at the side and I don't see anybody there, and then I turn and it's like, yeah. Especially seeing that light. That light should not be there, to be honest. Like, why do you need a light at this junction up here that doesn't need to be here? It doesn't need to be there, to be honest. It's about the only thing that I do not quite get. But anyway, so yeah, so I'll be able to get the use out of the PS2 controllers. Hopefully it works with the PS1 controller, DualShock 1 controller. If it does not work with the DualShock 1, then that's fine. But the thing that it really allows for me to access is that the PS2 could, like, my favorite controller of all time, if I had to pick between all the controllers I own specifically, I only have 2 controllers that I really absolutely love. Technically 3, but the top 2 is the controller that I'm using right now in my hand. Is a PDP, is a Rock Candy controller right now that I'm utilizing. Because it's just so smaller into my hands and it fits just better. Like, I'm not a big fan of big chunky controllers. And the only other controller is the PS2 controller. Like, those are the 2 best controllers I like my entire thing. Like, yeah, like the PS3 controller is great, but I just, something just about that PS2 controller just really is great. And you're literally riding the line of the... So, and my all-time favorite guitar controller is the Xbox 360 guitar for it, but I don't own it, so it's one of those things that if I ever do find it, I will pick it up if it's for cheap. And so I've been picking up a lot of these different things, like these different controllers and stuff over the years. I've pretty much basically have used an Xbox 360 controller. I have used knockoff Xbox 360 controllers. I've used every PlayStation controller out there, every PlayStation controller. And I've used a GameCube controller, I've used an N64 controller, I've used the, not just the N64 controller, but I've also used, a Nintendo controller, like the original Nintendo. And then, to be honest, I will tell you, like, the original Nintendo controller, Like that's a great controller as well, but to me, the only other controller that actually matches up is the PS5 controller. Like I like the PS5 controller a lot. I have 3 of them because that's how well, minus the stick drift and things. Like the PS2, I mean the PS5 controller's great, minus some of my flaws, but that's just because I keep dropping the controller all the time. And stuff. And I've dropped this controller way more times, and it still works more times than not than these $70 controllers that are out there. Out there. Now, of course, you know, speaking of kind of things that are, you know, good, you know, there's a lot of things where, a lot of games that I have not played, or some racing games that I have not played. To be honest, like I have played Gran Turismo. You know, back in the day, I played Gran Turismo based on the PS1. We're going all the way back to the PS1 is when I played the first Gran Turismo game. I've not played any Gran Turismo games since then. Because I'm not that kind of person that likes realistic racing games. To be honest, the only major racing franchises that I've done is basically Midnight Club and Need for Speed. Those are the only two those are the only two racing game franchises that I have played entirely exclusively through. I've played Burnout as well, and to be honest, so far I've only ever found like 5 or 6 different racing titles out there that are absolutely great. And to be honest, those 5 racing titles pretty much that I've played myself is split the and Mario Kart, to be honest, but to be honest, a lot of these titles, the only top 5 pretty much that I have played, and you guys will basically be like on this list. You guys are gonna be shocked at what these games are on this list. You know, these are not top-down racing games. These are third-person racing games, like you would see in third-person view. That you could also put into first-person or basically 3D racers. Not Make Way, not because I'm not counting that. I'm counting like traditional arcade racing games through it. And to be honest, Midnight Club is up here on this list to really be honest, Midnight Club 3 is there as pretty much, I'm not going in any particular order, but these are just my top 5. Split Second, I have played Split Second and I absolutely love that game. That is absolutely one of the greatest PS3 Xbox 360 titles out there. And I am going to tell you, Need for Speed Carbon is on here. Within its it's saying, a lot of people are gonna say, oh, you played Mario Kart, you like Mario Kart. Yes, I love Mario Kart, and I'm gonna give it to Mario Kart 8 on this one. I'm not just talking. I'm talking the Switch Deluxe Edition. I have not played Mario Kart World, so I can't really say on everything within the entirety of all Mario Karts. I've not played every Mario Kart game. To be honest, the only other Mario Kart game, the only Mario Kart games that I have played was Mario Kart Double Dash. I've played Mario Kart 64. I've played F-Zero, to be precise, for racing. And to be honest, those games, like, okay, so where is it having me go? Because it's having me go to the Osaka one, which is right down here. And then we go to Kanazawa that way, which is a 24-hour trip time. So that's the thing that I'm going to utilize. Kanazawa's 210, Osaka's 70. And then I'm pretty sure it's gonna cost me less. It's gonna cost me less to just do this. And then we go to Kanazawa. Yeah, it's gonna cost me 175 to travel up to this way. So I basically now I will utilize that if I'm traveling from up here. Save myself some moolah. So there are some connections here that that are out there. Now, of course, of course, there has been some other things within the within certain things that I really wanted to share with you guys. Not just saying that racing games are fantastic. You know, there's this another game that I've been kind of like, do I get it now or do I wait until it comes on PlayStation? Because to be honest, and that's the only other racing game that out there. You know, I've played Need for Speed Underground. You know, the current Need for Speed games like I'm playing right now is Unbound. Is the only current Need for Speed game. But to be honest, Forza Horizon's the one title that I really am eyeing. Do I go and pick up Forza Horizon 5, the basic edition? Because the basic edition, like, it's 30 some odd bucks just to pick up the basic edition of Forza Horizon 5. Or do I splurge and go with Forza Horizon 6 and travel to Japan and race in Japan? Or do I race in Mexico? And I'm kind of like, do I absolutely pick it? And I'm not for sure. To be honest, I am not quite for sure on it, because if I pick or do I because I've been debating on between that and not going to get these adapters. but I'm not gonna hesitate now. I have basically made a clear-cut decision that I'm gonna get these adapters because, to be honest, it's gonna be one of those things that if I do, and they do happen to really work, then basically I have struck gold, and now we'll be able to pick up Rock Band 4 and be able to pick up other games out there for it. So, and of course and then I basically said, you know what? And I said I wasn't going to pick it up because the point is, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm also going to save this 29 something bucks for Eurotruck, because I am a big fan of Europe more than America. And it's not that I'm against America, guys. It's just the trucks. I'm more. It's easier for me to drive in a truck like this than it is for me to drive in America. And yeah, but the reason why I'd pick Europe is because I don't get to travel or to experience a lot. You get a lot more out of Europe right now. Maybe at some point, maybe once America gets there. Right now, I pretty much basically I'm all the way. I'm still gonna keep going through. You don't need. You just basically, yeah, it's not gonna slow down any time, unless it's like for it. But to be honest, it's always a good thing that, you know, driving from point A to point B, or driving from now, of course, when you're you know, when you have some good things about video games, good things, there are some times where they you know, they don't quite seem to understand that a lot of these Republicans don't seem to quite understand the importance of reading a book. Okay, I don't read books very often. It's very rare that you'll catch me reading a book. I basically have like 3 or 4 books, 3 Star Wars books, and a couple of I have like Star Wars books, and then I have a couple other books that I am a big fan of reading. I'm not a big fan of reading, but Ready Player One was another book that I liked, and then I also like and I also have the Heartstoppers comic book, or not comic book, but a manga book, basically a manga type book, Um, and when I was scrolling through Facebook the other day, and I had to find it again today, was that there is a sign literally in Idaho that literally stops you from reading a book that has suggestive LGBTQ topics or any topic that basically that you have to go and get an approved adult before you can even if I'm not mistaken, hold on. Um, um, sorry, I have to. Wasn't too far back. It's basically anyone under 30 must check in at the desk. Um, that basically that you're now having to be checked or ID'd to see if you're over the age of 18 now. To basically, because they're so afraid of what kids might learn. You know, yeah, I would be too, but you know, it's at the same time, it's like, um, but at the same time, it would effectively, basically, they're trying to suppress the freedom of speech that we have. And to be honest, it doesn't just affect it doesn't just affect a child. It also affects a teenager who wants to read and they're 17, who wants to read an adult book because they're just not quite that age yet, but they're 17 and they basically, you know, it really strikes a nerve when they want to ban it for even just basically removing LGBTQ content because they disagree with it. They want to take away the Don't Say Trans bill, basically, that 6 Democrats voted to really take away your freedom of speech. You know, they are literally taking away your freedom of speech to have. They're taking away that right for you to make that decision on the issues at hand. They really are pushing the they are really pushing the point of not being able to have it. Basically, they want to control and say you can't talk about these things in school. You can't you know, and to be honest, the Don't Say Trans bill basically also just basically is required to they want to out trans kids. They want to basically forcefully out kids to parents that may be abusive, and abusive because and it doesn't matter if the person is trans and they still aren't trans. There's still abusive parents out there. They aren't really protecting the children, and even with this instance, they're not wanting to protect the children. And you know, banning LGBTQ, talking about it, removing LGBTQ discussion. Like, if you are even a religious person, you should not be going after people for it. Okay, you teach, like, if you don't want your kids learning about it, there's plenty of places of private schools that you can go to that are religious schooling that you can be a part of, that you don't get those LGBTQ content from, and that you can go to these places. Now that doesn't mean that that everything is going to be perfect in removing it. Um, if you don't want people to read your content or read your or learning about this stuff, then you be as a parent. You as a parent look at protecting your children from that. Not the government telling you you can't, because if I'm expected to go to a public school, I'm expected to for me, I'm expected to learn different values, different views across many different things. You know, the theory of evolution, learned that in high school, in middle school. Learned about it. Guess what? I learned about it because guess what? It's a theory that, hey, you learn about these things. You learn about differences. You learn about science. You learn about math. You learn about things that, yeah, you may not ever need to use that math, like the Pythagorean theorem or cosine and tangents and things like that, but at some point you might need to know how to use it because you're building a house, because you're and trying to basically remove Common Core math. Like, I was literally reading a thing that they wanted to get rid of Common Core math in freaking South Dakota. I saw the headline. I don't know if they're just changing the way that math is presented. But it's like how would I know a lot of my algebra and pre-calc and a lot of some of those things that I was actually happy to learn. Yeah, I wasn't great at math. I will admit I'm not perfectly great at it. I still I know how to count to I know how to do my multiplication by 12, by at least a few of my multiplications up to 12 in a few things. Like, I still use, like, if I do 9, I use my finger. Like, I count with my fingers all the time. Yeah, I'm not that great. If I'm do math, I go straight to a calculator to use it because it's just quicker for me to do it. But it's what it is, and being told that you have to not learn some things, because there are going to be people out there that yeah, you might not want to learn it, you might not want to be that way, but then there are going to be people out there that want to learn that need to learn it, that may not quite get it right off the bat, or may not quite I don't need to take care of, I don't need to do this. But then at some point somebody might be growing as a pure genius and actually be learning how to do math a little bit better, to understand certain things, to be honest. I wouldn't have known, going to college, like, I didn't realize that video gaming, I had to that in order to become a video game developer, that you have to know a lot about video games. Like, I went and school that I went and I had to learn programming. I could not do programming. I failed at programming. My art is not the greatest. I can do art. Actually, to be honest. But when it comes to face, when it comes to animation, when it comes to things like that, no, I don't know. I don't do great. And to be honest, the one teacher basically that I took my art, I literally failed the first time, and then I retook the art class a second time, and I actually got a better grade on it because, to be honest, you know, uh, when you're trying to do it over the summer and you're trying to get it submitted to get it done, you know, then it's kind of like, yeah, no. And I'm not a big thing, but you have to know, but you didn't know, but you don't know that until you actually learn and actually study about it. You wouldn't expect it. Like, to be honest, like, yeah, you don't have to go and do programming go to school for programming. You don't have to. You don't have to go and do it. You know, Barnacules didn't go to school to learn how to program. You know, Barnacules is pretty much basically a Microsoft developer. A person that helped make some of the things that we know today in our computers. And it's one of those things that, you know, we have these differences and have these things that if we don't learn and we don't understand certain and we don't understand something, then okay, yes, maybe we need to change the way our thinking is. But one of the things that that basically that's what freedom of speech is doing, is that these Republicans say that they believe in freedom of speech. They believe in basically the First Amendment. That, oh well, we shouldn't be involved in our small government, right? Well, they're actually not. They're really actually are big government wanting to control your life. Don't get me wrong. This isn't just affecting Republicans too. There are Democrats out there that are wanting to do the exact same thing, requiring you to have access to content on the internet. You have to submit an ID. The Democrats do the same thing. So it's not just that, but primarily, you know, they want to take away that ability for kids to even read a certain book, to read the different things in the library, because some things may not be appropriate for a child, but yes, there are a lot of books like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and books that you know, like Heartstoppers wouldn't be an ideal book for a kid, but a Heartstoppers is an ideal book for a teenager, for something like that, you know. But a book like a family talking about two dads because of talking about penguins, and you know, having, you know, reading a book that is a book, you know, for children. There are some books out there that are that aren't appropriate for a child, but they're put in the adult section for a reason. But when you start taking away a book that requires one a book on basically LGBTQ because it goes against it, well, but there are kids out there that have a family that does not look typical like a normal family. um, and things like that. They don't seem to really look into that and really think about that if they want to do that. Now, of course, there are some things that you know, but see, when they talk, the other thing that when they talk about things that should not be in front of children because of sexual things, then the Bible shouldn't be in front of children. And they don't really think about and they don't really think about a lot of these things. They don't think about the process that in which that, you know, if they want to not have kids learning a book because it has LGBTQ mentioned in it, then they shouldn't be reading about the Bible either. Because you don't want a kid reading about it, about LGBTQ, then don't let them read a Bible because it's in the Bible. A Bible. They don't claim to really. They only want to ban books that they don't agree with. They only want to ban these things that are not appropriate for children like that, and that's what they want to do. They don't care. As long as it benefits them and benefits their agenda, that's basically what they're there for. And then there are a lot of other okay. Now, I need to know, is it the right one or is it the left one here? So I forgot. I just took the highest one, rated one. No, it's the other one. It's the other one across the hall. And the other side. And then there are things, like, MAGA Mike Johnson, who basically decided to shut down Congress for a whole week, at most, the minimum. You know, he's basically said he closed it until June. And because he decided to do that, now basically they aren't going to be back in office. But the reason why the House was shut down was because of they basically were talking about this Don't Say Trans bill for hours on end. And then they basically were going to have this vote on the War Powers Act. They basically took in a lot longer time to they did not vote on the War Times Act because Mega Mike basically said, no, we're just not going to vote on it at all, even though there were going to be basically Republicans that basically were going to say no to this, allowing for Trump to utilize War Powers Act to allow for him basically to go to war with Iran and things like that. Basically, even the um, even Congress, the Senate was gonna basically, they didn't have enough votes to approve it anyways either. So it came down to basically Mega Mike was gonna lose, and we basically said, nope, we're just gonna shut it down. We're not gonna take a vote on this because we're not gonna deal with this right now. We're gonna let Trump do what he wants to do, and it's not that great. It's really not. And to be honest, with, like I said, with the 6 Democrats that basically decided to vote with the Republicans on this Don't Say Gay bill, it's not going to pass the Senate. But those 6 Democrats really need to be, hopefully those 6 Democrats that did vote for it, that they do get replaced. Because, to be honest, if you are, somebody that championed LGBTQ rights, championed to protecting LGBTQ, but you decided not to in this vote, then you are ridiculous. And basically, to do not allow a parent to know about it, to be honest, you don't, you don't. A lot of parents don't need to know everything, but they don't. Especially when there is trouble at home. A parent should not be notified about what's going on. If that's going on, and that's basically what the Don't Say Gay bill was for. So that's what they were doing prior to voting, before they were going to vote on this resolution, this war thing, and it's like really dumb.
Event 録画が行われました。
11%. I haven't really, it is excessive where, I don't know. But there is one thing I will tell you that I'm going to tell you right now. I am going to give you guys, I know I'm going to probably block traffic here, but I'm going to take a quick break. I will be right back. We will finish talking about the some of the other things that are needing to be said, but so I will be right back. But anyway, yeah, so it's really a lot of things that, that, Trump has kind of been one of those people that, I can't sit down and listen to anything that he has to say. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if he's speaking something, then it's like there's always this thing that really bothers me a lot when it's so easy to say that you can't, that if you sit there and you listen, I don't have to sit there and believe and listen to him and believe him. Okay, the thing is, I voted for him twice. Okay, a lot of people probably think I may have at least voted for him at least once, maybe twice. And I voted for him twice because, I thought he was going to be a good president. I thought he was going to be this great president that he is. And then and then I come to find out that, I wasn't quite paying attention, wasn't quite really listening to politics. I kind of just watched CBS, kind of just watched news on the occasion. I wasn't somebody that spent her time watching everything and listening to the news. I still don't quite listen to the news as consistently as everybody else, consistently, but I don't listen to CBS. I don't take CBS as a place that I will listen to on a daily basis. I am somebody that does not listen to CBS as basically as like I used to. You know, I would put CBS. I would used to listen to CBS on a daily basis. On it, I would basically sit down and listen to national news. On that, I'm gonna move over. Oh. Moved over just so that I could whatever. And to be honest, one of the last pieces of things that I really, really liked listening to, like I still will watch CBS stuff. It's nothing that, you know, there are at least a lot of shows that I do watch through CBS that are decent enough, like NBC, like NCIS and Fire Country and Sheriff's Country and things like that, Elsbeth and Tracker and things like that. They're good shows, but I always, but my all-time show that I kind of watched occasionally, and it was the only late show that I would watch whenever I was over at family overnight, because I would always sleep out on the couch or in the recliner pretty much, and I would go to sleep watching Stephen Colbert, like, and I subscribed to The Late Show recently, because it's actually one of those things that, does The Late Show have a YouTube channel? Because if they do, I'm subscribing. I subscribe to it because, to be honest, you know, Stephen Colbert basically is one of the best TV shows, best late night TV that I like. They really are, you know, Stephen, and it could probably be the best thing that Stephen Colbert is probably off the air now, but it's also not, because at the same time, you know, Stephen Colbert basically, Trump can't take a joke because Stephen Colbert talked about a joke about him. It's literally taking down somebody because you do not like their freedom to speak or freedom to speak their mind. If you cannot take a joke, and you can't, or even a criticism, then, and you want to silence somebody for it, then you're no better. You're no, you know, you're not a good person for it. And I'm not gonna sit there and listen to people that will silence people because they don't like their stuff. Now, of course, if you're going to come in and you're going to be nasty and rude and kind of have some of those things, then yeah, of course I'm going to report you for it. Because, and if you're going to be nasty towards LGBTQ people, I'm going to report you for it too. Because I'm not going to sit there, I'm not going to report you for that, of course. But on YouTube, I'm going to pretty much unsubscribe from you. Unsubscribe from you, block you, and not let you, not hear from you. Because I'm not going to sit there and have you be there and being nasty to people. You know, I was watching a thing from Tizzy today, where he basically got, where he takes the freedom of speech, where he takes the content that he does, and where he goes out and finds people, and I have literally left TikTok on this grounds because one of the things that I literally left TikTok was for this big huge reason. Um, Glass just sent him. What? I don't quite get. Didn't quite get his message. My team is now stacked on Madden. I don't know. But to be honest, there is this thing that really bothers me a little bit when, for that people are gonna be mean to other people and be rude on the internet. Like, if you're gonna be rude on the freaking internet, you're basically there. And I'm just gonna tell you, like if you're gonna get the attention, I'm just not gonna start mentioning you. If you're gonna consistently follow one thing, I'm not gonna give you second chances. When you get your chance already before you do get banned. You don't get a second chance. If you happen to come back and it's a year and I quite don't remember, okay, that whatever. Sometimes that happens, but I'm not gonna yeah, we're going that way. I'm going, and its trip time is 19 hours. It's 31 hours to finish. I'm gonna do the same thing I did before. Now I need to check the bank because I realize now we won't be paying hold on, let me go to bank real quick. We will be paying that much a day compared to what we were paying before, so we won't be spending a lot on a daily basis. We will still be paying that much, but I need to check my email real quick. Like my overdraft settlement, like, yeah, I go under, but then when I complete my thing, then of course I do tend to not do so well. And sometimes, like, I've had my stuff taken once from me where I had to pay it off, and then I basically bought this truck, and now we're trying to work on this one to fix it up. But to be honest, we're now going with exclusively utilizing Hatsune Miku for this one. Well, I'm gonna take this to save a little bit of push time. It's 19. but I am going to I'm going to do the same thing I did before because it's basically going to yeah, it's basically it's 2031 and I'm still gonna have to sleep at some point, so it's like I'm gonna have to really focus on it, on a lot of that being done. So we're gonna pretty much basically so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take and put you there, and then we do that. It's still going to be 22 to that checkpoint, but 22 will still be able to get done with the trip because of the way that things are being done. But I will still tell you this, oh, it's a speeding violation. A speeding violation. But I know that once we get through this whole thing going over, we're gonna go in debt again, of course, but then we'll come back out of it again. So it's literally that playing cat and mouse right now with the loans. Like we overdraft, like we go into the negatives, but then we go back into the positives after a day. I go and I said, oh well, I'm negative now, but I end up taking this job. This job, so, and I have a couple of people on staff. I don't have much of anybody. It's gonna take us a little bit longer before we can start getting people, because yeah, it's gonna take us a long time before we do, and I haven't been doing gas because a lot of it is, it's like I don't need to spend on, I might do one, but I am not spending on gas right now doing things like that, because what's the point in spending on a point on gas when you don't need to right away? In Project Japan, you don't want to do that right away you wanna maybe, if you're going for a, Hiroshima is only 25, but going to Osaka and then, then we go and embark up to that point. Like, as you can see, we're down by 445, but we're not going to be down, down a lot. But anyway, okay, so now, we can delete that pin. That's 3-hour trip time left for this job. We've taken 2 jobs actually, finishing up a job and taking up a second one today. That's actually a good thing. So, but freedom of speech, like I said, the biggest thing I've said before is like you start taking away that speech, you start taking away the rights of the speech for any reason, because you don't like something. Because you don't agree with it, it's just not right. Like, you don't have, like, if you don't agree with it, then don't let your kids read it. Don't let your kids go out. But kids are gonna be, sometimes kids are gonna be curious, and kids are gonna find books that they're wanting to read, because that's what, sometimes it's okay for a kid to read certain books. There are some picture books out there that are adult oriented that should not be there, but those books should be marked into the adult book. But an LGBTQ book talking about a penguin talking about having 2 dads, or a family that has 2 dads, that's not. But when it's a sexually picture book kind of thing, then yeah, that's a book that should be put in the adult section. Okay? Those books should be in the adult section. You know, video games, same thing with video games. Like, you don't want your kid playing Grand Theft Auto. Okay? Don't let your kid play that Grand Theft Auto video game. If you don't want your kid playing that video game because it's got LGBTQ, don't let your kid play that video game. Okay? You have the right to choose to let your kid read what they want to read, play what they want to play for other people. Don't force your thing to say, oh well, this kid shouldn't be playing an M-rated game because it's Diablo, or because the game's Call of Duty. Any online game should be taken care of by you. Should be controlled by you. Don't let your kid have an iPad. You know, let your kids, don't let your kids on YouTube. If you don't want your kids on YouTube, then let your kids, if you don't want your kids watching certain content, put them on YouTube Kids. You know, the YouTube Kids is a safer bet, safer alternative than traditional YouTube. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, you YouTube Kids is a safer place where kids can watch content on there. Now that doesn't mean that it's 100% perfect, but that just allows for, there are tools out there that allow for you to prevent your kids from having access to certain content. And you, as a parent, should be focused on that. Not the government. Government should not be involved in your daily life. If you don't want your kids having a social media account, don't let your kids have a social media account. It's that simple. It's that easy. Easy to prevent your kids from having access to Let me make a car in front of us. It's funny. That car could have gone, but if you're going straight, it's whatever. And it's like there are a lot of things that oh yeah, and then you go this way to that one. But to be honest, it's one of those things that we can protect our children. We can have that. There's a lot of tools out there, better tools out there today than there was when I was younger. Okay? There are better tools. And the reason why I know that is because Microsoft has those tools. Steam has the tools. Your phone has the tools. I'm pretty sure when you got a phone and it's the first generation of Android, there was a lot less parental controls for it than there are now. Sitting on Android 10, I think. Android something, I think, like Android 12 or some version of Android that has more protections. And that there's all these you have your web. I don't know about what your web browser having it, but you can always put there's always plugins out there that put out these things. You put you can block certain content, put a password behind the content, and you will basically be able to lock it behind the door. You have if you want to block it computer side, you can block a on the computer side of things by going through routing it to 1.1.1.3 or 1.1.1.2 for your DNS through Cloudflare. Just as a simplistic thing that prevents kids from having access. You can do it router wide. That add that on top of it. Now it's not perfect. It's not going to be most perfect thing, you can do it that way, and you don't have to have the government be involved. It doesn't take much to block these things. It does not take 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes to block a thing. It doesn't take thousands of hours to block content on the internet for your kids. It takes simple, few easy steps to do it, and monitoring them is also there too, but maybe you can prevent them from playing on certain prevent them from playing Fortnite. Don't let them, like, if you don't want them accessing or talking with other people, then don't let them play Fortnite. Don't let them play those things. Have it in a controlled setting. Control. You have ways to control are you Are you serious? I went through and sped up through twice, but anyway, before we absolutely get up onto the highway up here, if you want to do something like that, I don't accept Discord friend requests. I don't send out Discord friend requests either. I accept one, maybe two here and there. I have to get to know you publicly before we go privately, and if you are going to be nasty privately, I don't accept that. But anyway, I am going to be right back, guys. Sorry, I had to go put supper in. Clock I need to set for 21, because that way when the timer goes off, we don't have any issues. Anyway, we got 2 hours left to finish. If I don't quite finish it before supper's ready, then I'm basically done for the night. And we'll just finish it up later. But to be honest, you know, and I'll be honest, like I have not played enough sports games. I'm not a big fan of sports games a lot of the time. Like I am not gonna sit there and play. I'm not gonna sit there and spend $70 every year to buy a sports title. I'm not gonna sit there. Why spend money on a sports title that that essentially doesn't change much every year? And those are the kind of things that, you know, you look at, you know, sports titles. Like the only sports title that I have actually spent a lot of time with is snowboarding games or skateboarding games. Pretty much. I do dabble occasionally in sports titles. Like I don't mind, like I'll spend like $5 on a sports title more than spending thousands of dollars on a sport, $70, $80 on a sports title. To be honest. And I actually kind of think I figured out why, I actually kind of figured out why I'm having the issues. Like when I have rain, it always seems to do it when I have rain, but I don't know if it happens at night too, so I don't know. Are we serious? We gonna do this? But hopefully, actually that could be an easy spot for me to just stop right there, but I'm kind of like out of what I want to talk about in today, to be honest. But yeah, no. When it comes to sports games, like I'm not like I don't play a lot of NASCAR or racing games just of that caliber because I would rather sit down and play normal, just arcadey. I'm more of an arcade racer, more of an arcades kind of person. Skateboarding, snowboarding kind of thing. I'm not like, you know, the extent of my baseball, like Mario Baseball is the extent because it's an arcade type of baseball game. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't. Go through it all, but I was sneakily go and do that. Sneakily go around like that. But it's not, but I would have to break some laws doing it, and I'm not going to, so. me go on 49. Hopefully we can get finishing with this one quite for a little bit of time. About 8 minutes, got about 5 minutes left. Hopefully, 5 minutes left to stream anyway. But if you guys are enjoying yourselves, make sure you guys are followed, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure that when you do subscribe, make sure that you hit that bell notification. You can set it to personalized, but you're not gonna always get my content. Set it to all so you can. And sometimes they might bury, you might have to bury you through your notifications. There are some times where, if you upload multiple times in a day, kind of thing, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to try to upload a video tonight, for you guys for tomorrow, that is Age of Empires derivative of Age of Empires 2 playing on Linux. Age of Empires 2, for games that run on Linux, like Microsoft Age of Empires does run. You just can't get logged into the Xbox thing, which is fine by me. You can do that. You can also do Halo on Linux. Forza Horizon's on Linux too. Turn 10 is there, and I really like that they do support that. Microsoft sometimes will support Linux. There's a lot of titles out there that do not, that I wish I could play, like Fortnite and not only Fortnite, but being able to play Linux, Call of Duty on it, and being able to play Apex Legends and some of these Valorant and League of Legends and things, but we can't because of the anti-cheat and how deep it goes, the kernel anti-cheat basically. That these games should not be part of. And why for it. Now, as you can see, we are at 1.7 mil again. So anyway, I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna get off. If you guys want to see more content, and want to see some Age of Empires or see some other games, I might be live tomorrow for I'll probably be on tomorrow afternoon with it's 22:26. I'll probably be on tomorrow afternoon playing some Age of Empires 2. But anyway, if you guys want to see that, it's always great to be followed and subscribed here. But tonight is going to be a little bit of some Call of Duty. It's gonna be some Call of Duty tonight, and then and maybe a round of football. Maybe we'll see how things go with that. And but anyway, tomorrow. Tomorrow we should see Scarlet back tomorrow, hopefully. For it. So, anyway, if you guys are wanting to see that, make sure you guys are followed and subscribed. Make sure you get that bell notification with the all, because if you don't, you're gonna be sorely missed on that. But anyway, we will catch you guys later. Because yeah, when you set that subscribe, you will be sorely missing my content. Because some of you might not be subscribed and still coming to watch my content on a daily basis. So